Okay, in this video we're going to cover the applications that I use primarily to do web development and WordPress development. So I bought these from Apple, so I'm going to open the App Store and it opens up on featured and you can search for all of these apps on there, but I'm going to go to purchased because I've already bought these. And I'm signed in to my Apple Store account, so you'll have to create an account and set it up and attach a credit card or payment that you want. So I use Pages a lot because I can export PDFs and it's very easy to make a PDF that looks nice in their application. Google Docs does that. I'm a big Google fan, but it is fast and I do have a Mac, and so I may as well use Pages because I can export a PDF, and if that's what I'm trying to do, it's really not a problem. And Google Drive allows me to store the Pages source file in my Google Drive, so I don't have a problem doing that, because if I'm going to edit that type of document, um, then I'm going to use Pages to do it anyway, not Google Drive. For things that I need to edit on the go or that I might need to edit on my phone or something, I will do it in Google Docs, so there's no complications later on. And then next we're going to scroll down. I use iDraw, which is a vector editor. So this will replace Adobe Illustrator. You won't need to go buy like the Creative Suite. Pixelmator is a good replacement for Photoshop. Again, there's some stuff that I do use the Creative Suite for, and there's some advanced features, like there's actions that automate some processes, and there's smart objects. So um, for most of your stuff, though, if you're just trying to crop a logo or edit something, these programs are going to get you through the job, and you're going to be able to go real far until you get into heavily customized websites. This unarchiver will allow me to unzip some tar files and different things that Finder will not. I don't usually install that unless I come across something where I need it. And then I use Transmit for FTP. There's a free program called FileZilla that you can use. And I might cover that in a video. If you guys send me an email and want to see that, I can make that. And then Coda 2 is my code editor of choice. You don't need Coda 2, but on a Mac, it's a real good interface. It allows you to live edit on the server, and they have a really polished user interface that I like. And I have the Retina MacBook Pro, so if I have the screen to render the UI and you're on a MacBook, you may as well use this because it looks awesome. Adobe has a free program called Brackets, and there's a couple of, like Acorn is a free editor also. Brackets is pretty easy to use, right out of the box without having to do too much. And if you configure that to work with FileZilla, you can use FileZilla to access the files and edit that, but that's it. So it's going to install these files one by one. It looks like none of them are in the process of installing. Let's see if they've all made it. And they have. So we're going to launch Coda and keep that in the dock. And then we're going to launch Transmit and keep that in the dock. And I'll cover later how to set these up. I already have my favorites, which Transmit has. That's a bunch of connections to servers because I have a lot of connections. So I already have that file, and when I click it, it'll just import all those settings. But you're not going to have that if you're starting out. So we're going to cover how to connect to servers and how to edit the files and go through these. So now we have iDraw. I don't really keep iDraw in my dock because I don't use it that much. But since we're talking about setting your dock up, let's go ahead and keep this in the dock. And then now we can quit iDraw, and now we're on Pixelmator. So we'll quit that. And we're on Transmit. We'll quit that. Now we're on Coda. And we'll quit that. And we have no updates, and those have all installed. So now Um, I like my code editors kind of to the right side of the dock here, and I'll put my browser over to the left. This is just my personal preference. I don't use iDraw. Anything that I don't use that much, I'll put all the way over to the right or right before the app launcher, and that's how I do my dock. So I've got my Chrome apps right in the center here because I'm always in Chrome. So let's say I had Chrome open. I would maximize this, and then in my previous videos I showed how to set up the preferences on a Mac so that you can take 4 fingers and just swipe between spaces. And I mentioned that if you had a code editor, you can maximize this and it'll go full screen, and then I can go back and forth between my browser and my code editor. And then if you swipe up with 4 fingers, it's going to show like this. So if I want to put Coda over there, now I've got my desktop here, and then Chrome, and then my code editor over here. So this is kind of the workflow that I use all day long. And I don't worry about auto hiding the dock. You might have heard me mention that in the previous video, or the magnification, because when I'm on my desktop, I'm on my desktop, and then I can go into Chrome and do whatever I need to. So this also works like if I just want to go to Google and stay here, and I want to break this out to another tab, to another window. So let's say in this I wanted to go to Google News. So now I can go back and forth between these different windows. So I could have whatever I'm researching over here, and I could have the website that I'm editing. So if I needed to look up some code of how to do something and I'm on a forum, I have it here. I can copy and paste and go back over here, look at the website, and then jump over to the code editor and still go over 2 spaces, and I'm back to the desktop. Typically what I have open is I have one that has my Gmail open because I'm communicating with clients. These are notifications for my Gmail. So I can send this page with Gmail, or I can click this to go straight to my Gmail, and it'll have a little number like this if I have something waiting in my inbox. So this is kind of the workflow that I've got all day. And again, if I swipe up with 4 fingers, I can reorder these and put like my email over here, the code editor, then what I'm working on. And then sometimes I'll be editing code, and then I'll go back over and look at the website, and I'll go back over and edit some code, and then I might go over here and download something, which might be from my email, which is over here, and a client sends me a picture, I download it, it goes to my desktop or my downloads folder, wherever my preferences are set. Then I can go back over here and start working with those files. And when you have things maximized, you can also hold down here at the bottom, and your dock will still pop up. So you're not without the dock when you have things, when you maximize them like this. So that's how I set that up.